Hi there, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to video number 3 in the restoration of this Nordmende Super 250-9. I left off last time having completed the audio section, and just a little note, that little video that I did on testing those tubes, that thing went crazy by my standards, or my channel standards. I've got, I think it was 10,000 views in 6 days. I don't understand why. I'm thankful, but I don't understand why. I wasn't even going to put that up. But I have been giving a lot of thought to the making of a tube tester. A lot of you have said, go ahead and do it. I'll probably have some fun with that. And I think at the moment, the vote in my head is yes, go ahead and do it. So as for this one, in this video, we get some bright lights going up, as you probably noticed from the rather clickbaity thumbnail that I used. I am very thankful that I was using the Dimbulb Tester. Stick around, find out why, and enjoy the video. But before we carry on, I just want to tell you about the sponsors of our video. They're PCBWay. You can find them on PCBWay.com. Links are in the description below. They're having the 8th anniversary promotions right now. So whatever you need, just jump to this website and see what they have there for you. Something else they've launched is a new service called a one-stop solution, which is contract manufacturing that allows you to produce an entire product or range of products. They'll offer all the services required. So they'll do the product design, development, engineering, and so on. They're experts at printed circuit board manufacturing, component and technical part procurement, turnkey operations, CNC machining, everything else that you may need to get your product out there. They've got it. So go and visit them. And once again, I want to thank them for their support. I was getting kind of disgusted with the dirt on this thing, especially on the front and parts of the top. So I decided to get cracking on getting this thing looking a little bit more presentable and a little bit less cringeworthy when touching this thing. So I cleaned the entire front section. I also did much more cleaning on the body itself, as you can see. So it's looking a heck of a lot better now. The knobs were in pretty bad shape, but they came out fantastically. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of surface dirt on there. That'll be the final cleanup. So there's still some work to do. And the knobs just polish beautifully. Look at this one. Now, the other one is a different story. The other one had no screw on there, so I had to repair that. But it's also been cleaned up. And now when we look at the top, I started on this end. You can see it's starting to look a lot better. There's a little bit more metal showing rather than just black grit. This thing used a heck of a lot of those makeup remover pads, because this thing was incredibly encrusted. It was really dirty, but it's coming out pretty well. And as I said, this thing's going to need a final cleanup because it was just in such bad shape that it's too much work to get it done in one go. I'll go around again later. And of course, I've left some areas to satisfy my my cleaning habits. This section has not been done yet. Just the top grime has been taken off, so that needs doing as well. I'm a great believer in not throwing anything away, and it pays off occasionally. You may recall this thing was loose in there, didn't have the that nut and the screw, the grab screw to hold it in place. So I looked in my junk box and lo and behold, I found one. And I believe it fits perfectly. There we go. And we've got one knob sorted. Perfect. While we're here, let me talk about this dial cord. I had another dial cord experience on this one, which I'd rather have missed. But if you recall, the entire dial cord was all over the place. I thought it was broken. It actually wasn't. It was intact. There are two sections. They were both intact. And I had no reference as to how to wind this. So I've looked all over the place. I looked at other models of this radio and future versions. I couldn't find anything that matched this one. And the reason is, I don't think I've ever done a radio that wires up or that the dial cord goes like this. This thing goes across to here. This thing does not go down to the tuning control. It goes to here, goes across. On this side, it goes around here, comes around here. Then it goes to the back of this thing, winds twice along there, comes back where it comes up from the bottom here, then over the top, and then it goes to there and over there. And the spring is actually on the back. So this is a really weird one, and I have made a mistake. Let me show you. First of all, I was able to remove this cap, which is quite easy to clip off. And by doing that, you can see where the position is of the actual tuning condenser. I wanted to be able to see what position the tuning condenser was in, whether it was fully closed, fully open, or whatever. And the reason for that is I know from the dial that the lower frequencies are at this end, the higher frequencies are on the other end. So I wanted to make sure that when this thing goes fully meshed, as it's going now, that my dial is moving to the low frequency end. I know that when the capacitance is at the maximum, the frequency is at the minimum. When the capacitance reduces by opening the condenser this way, this has got to go to the higher frequency end. Now, with these pulleys and everything else, you can actually get it going the wrong way. If you don't have a drawing, that's a risk you take, and it took quite a few tries. I finally got it working, but I still have a mistake. When I go clockwise, it would make sense that the pointer goes that way. So I'd be tuning to that end of the band. And when I go counterclockwise, I'd expect this thing to move the other way. This is just an ergonomics thing. And it's very easy to correct that. All I need to do is remove that spring at the back. And the cord that's going around here, instead of going around that way, clockwise, it should go counterclockwise, or vice versa. So I still have to correct that, but that's not a big deal. I suppose you could look at it like this. If I go this way, I'm going up in frequency. If I go like that, I'm going down in frequency, but that's not the way this thing normally works. So that needs doing. Well, you may recall this thing was giving us a very, very low volume. There was something definitely wrong. When I did the checkup of the audio section, I believed the audio section is working well, and I still believe it is. I did not test the radio reception at that point because, well, I wasn't there yet. But what I decided to do was to replace all the capacitors that need replacing on the AM section and on the FM section to be able to see whether we can find the problem. Now, let's see the schematic for this. You see this? This radio had exactly 3 capacitors that I believed needed replacing. One there, one there, one there. Now, this is incredible. I've never found, I don't think I've ever restored a radio that has so few capacitors that need replacing at this end and needing all of them replaced at that end. This is really strange, but the fact is that the capacitors that I found on here, some of them were the ceramic types and others were the polystyrene ones, which very seldom go off, and I did desolder them and then just test them. They're all perfectly fine. The 3 that I did replace actually ended up being AM and FM, because FM has got one capacitor here, an electrolytic. It's a 4 microfarad 50-60 volt electrolytic, and that one looked a little bit grubby, so I figured I'd replace that. So this is everything we've done so far. These are the only lines that I've checked. I have cleaned the tube sockets, obviously, and the tube pins, and nothing else, absolutely nothing else was done on the radio sections. And I want to show you the result of this. But first of all, let me show you these 3 capacitors I removed. Here are the 3 capacitors that I replaced. We've got 2 of them here. Both of them are 25 nanofarads. Let's see what we've got. $58. Yep, that's gone. This one also supposed to be 25. 64, 63, definitely gone. And this one is the electrolytic on the FM discriminator. That is supposed to be 4 microfarads. $37 picofarads. This guy is completely open. It's sort of bulging there. You can sort of see it. It's bulging there. So this thing's pushed itself out. There's star in there. So this guy is definitely a goner. I replaced this with a 4.7 microfarad 50 volt cap. That should be perfectly fine. So let's test this. Let's see if we've got our radio back. Connect the mini whip antenna, switch it on. Got my speaker input or speaker output coming into this test speaker. It's on speaker at the moment. I can put it on dummy load, but we'll leave it on speaker for now. I have the dim bulb on one light bulb, and I'm going to try it on medium wave. You can just see the dial lamps on here. Let's see if we hear anything. It's only one light bulb, so it's fairly restricted. There we are. Oi, that's getting pretty loud. But we don't have short, so I'm going to give it another couple of light bulbs. In fact, I'll put all 4 of them in, so that's like having a 200 watt bulb on there. It's still protected, but it's got the same as having 200 watts on there. That's our local station, loud and clear. Okay, let's try, what is that, long wave? That's long wave.
Plus de 1200 citoyens palestiniens, y compris 500 enfants, sont menacés.
There's a lot of noise. That, I believe, is North Africa.
بعد تعرضه اليوم لإطلاق نار تنديدا دوليا واسعا وأجمع عدد من قادة دول العالم على.
My guess is that that's North Africa as well. This is shortwave. I stopped because something has just gone terribly wrong here. Watch this. There's a short that's just come up. Now that is really strange. Something really strange is going on here. I reduced the dim bulb to the 140 watt bulb, and I took out each tube one at a time to see if it wasn't a tube that had shorted out. It wasn't that. It kept coming on bright. Then I flipped this over to look at the underside, and I switched it on to try and see if I could see any smoke or anything like that. And now the problem's gone away. So whatever it is, it's got something to do with the mechanical short that's got to do with when this thing's on its facing the right way around, because I did it again and it comes up again. So I have to search for that. But in the meantime, let's see what we can receive. I think I can risk it. I'll do 2 light bulbs only and see what we get. We were on shortwave, was it? Now, what is this? This is pickup. Shortwave. It would help if I had an antenna in. So you get nervous, and this happens.
No, quizás de varias maneras. Primero, sí que es verdad que nos hemos centrado.
Recognize the importance of having a coordinated strategy for dealing with those long stagnation in Japan. What was involved in that phenomenon?
This thing's actually receiving pretty well.
It was the so-called three arrows combination.
Now let's try FM, which is this one. I've got to change the antenna.
Time goes too swiftly. Wicked self, não temos russa and zayada no início da smile. From Baz Luhrmann. Basta esta introdução from Baz.
This is actually Canary Islands, so it is picking up.
They're superpower.
Elvis.
الأعمال الدليل محبة له أشواق ناس
This is from Africa.
وغنى لجسلان جيسن تامين جيسن ربي يسن يلي بدا غل هنا.
This is amazing.
Contrato profesional, una decisión de la que no
Canary Islands. Canary Islands again.
This is
a local station. Okay, let me not push my luck. Switch that off. And I have arrived at two conclusions. One is something mechanical is shorting to ground. When this thing twists, in other words, when this thing is on its bottom, on its feet, something is touching. When I lift it up, it breaks the contact. That's one of the, it's a really, but we'll find it. We'll find it. I know where I replace components. These are the three that I did after that first phase. It's that discriminator cap there, that one there, and that one there. So I haven't touched in many places. It'll be easy enough to see if one of those created a short. Remember, it could also be something as simple as a solder blob that fell, or, you know, a piece of wire when you cut off the component legs after soldering them, that can fall in and touch. So, yeah, okay, I'm going to shake this around. I'm going to look around. I'll find it, but I just wanted to see if this thing was working, and it's working very, very well. The shortwave is receiving incredibly well. The long wave, yeah, it's noisy, but that's normal for me here, especially when I've got certain lights on in the bathroom. It always seems to happen. I've been promising that I'm going to replace those lamps, and I still haven't, but I will do. And the FM is very, very sensitive because I'm getting stations here from North Africa. Now that's FM. I'm getting a heck of a lot of Canary Island stations. That's like 600 miles away. This is pretty amazing for my area here. I mean, we've got 4 local stations, and I'm getting all the local stations, and I'm getting a lot of Canary Island stations on FM. Pretty good reception. So this thing's working pretty well. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a break, literally from this project and any projects, because if you don't know, this is the time of the year that my wife and my daughter kidnap me, take me off to the north of Portugal, force me to wear shorts and slops and t-shirt, and they force me to enjoy the sun. So I have to drag myself out of this den and go along and pretend that I don't mind being kidnapped. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll get to see 1 or 2 tube radios in some shop window in some little town or village in the north of Portugal. But seriously now, I'm going for a 10-day, 12-day holiday. and I've been looking forward to it for quite some time. My daughter's finished another year at university. That makes it 1 to go. It's a 5-year course. So we've got to enjoy them when they're around, while they're around, because afterwards they become like we are to our parents, you know, Sunday call and so on. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. There wasn't much today, but I really have been quite tied up with other stuff trying to get ready for this trip. And I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, click like, share, subscribe and all that jazz. And if you want to support the channel directly, you can do so on Patreon. Just a quick note, I've received the reconing foam for the GRUNDIG satellite 650. I've also received the rubber belt for the 650. So when I get back, I've got this one to finish and I've got the satellite to carry on with as well. Once again, thanks for watching. Bye for now and stay safe.